Alcon Entertainment, the studio behind the next installment to the cult favorite Blade Runner, has finally dated the release in a very odd place, Martin Luther King weekend, January 12, 2018. The movie is the brainchild of original director Ridley Scott, who enlisted Blade Runner co-writer Hampton Fancher to pen the script alongside Michael Green. Prisoners and Sicario director Denis Villeneuve will take the helm that will see the return of Harrison Ford's Rick Deckard alongside a new character played by Ryan Gosling. Christian, what do you think of the January release date for Blade Runner 2?
It's concerning. I always, like January, like it's one thing when Kung Fu Panda 3 comes out in January because that's the animation and it worked for it. And I was even skeptical about that coming out in January, but that it worked. It was the third movie. Blade Runner, by all accounts, is beloved by many, but didn't do big box office numbers in '82, I think, when it came out. It's grown an audience throughout VHS and DVD and Blu-ray nowadays. But the movie itself is more like that's why I hesitance to put it in the summer and even in. I would think it would be a perfect place for like October or even November or something. But to put it in January with Denis Villeneuve there, that January movie for that guy, what this says to me is that Alcon has no more money, who's doing this movie, because they put out Point Break, and that thing was a disaster movie. It was. I mean, the movie cost almost $200 million or something close to it. Something close to that with marketing and everything. Yes.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. It's close to $150, $200 million plus all this stuff. I know you're offended, and you should be, because it was ridiculous, and they took a shot on it, which the decision makers over there were horribly wrong to do so. I've taken cracks at one of the higher ups there, and I'll do it again. The guy is making bad decisions, and that's why. And it's probably why they can't put enough marketing into this movie, and they can't put enough I don't know, production or whatever it is to put it out in January. What are you doing? It's Harrison Ford. I don't know.
Roca.
Yeah, I agree with you, Christian. I think it should fall in later in the year, in the fall. It's going to be a rainy noir like the original, so logically it would make sense to put it. That's kind of more the vibe that you want to put it in. The odd movie audiences go with that kind of feeling into the theater. So I think that makes perfect sense to do it then. So it's odd to be released. I mean, is there a record they're trying to break here? I don't understand why they would do it. Plus, Villeneuve is coming off one of the best films of the year last year, in my opinion, Sicario. Yeah. So why not give him more of a showcase and more of an opportunity to be seen, to have his work seen by more people? It seems like it might die on the vine. I mean, it has a great following, but I don't know if they're going to come out in January. It just seems an odd time.
Yeah, the key word for me is odd versus concerning, and I'll explain why later. But yeah, okay, we look at Blade Runner. It's probably not going to be a big blockbuster. It can't compete against the summer movies, right? Why not have it out in October, November, where Denis Villeneuve's other movies like Sicario and Prisoners were launched and did decently well. It's not going to be maybe an Oscar movie, but at least that audience will look for that movie then.
And those movies didn't have brand recognition.
No, not at all. The reason why I don't think it's concerning in the sense of they haven't even started shooting. Usually when they move like a release date to January or something like that, it's usually the movie's already been done. They either like have a rough cut of it or it's in final stages, and they move it towards like a really crappy time because they're like, forget it, let's just dump it here. Yeah. This movie hasn't even started production yet, so I feel like it's less a reflection on the quality of the movie and just more what you're talking about.
The money.
Yeah, they don't have the money for it.
That's more the concerning for me, is because going off of John's point, I think that because they don't have the money or being able to do it, and I think they have the deal with Warner Brothers, so maybe Warner Brothers could push it or something too, but like the director's getting screwed.
Yeah.
And Harrison Ford's going to get screwed because January it's a dumping ground. Regardless, it is. And it's even if it does well in January, it's not going to have the kind of numbers that it might have somewhere else, as Blade Runner 2 should have. So I just think it's weird.
You're saying it's being distributed by WB?
Because I think that's who their deals with, unless WB cut them. But I think because that's who Point Break was with, and I think Alcon has their deal with Warner Brothers.
So do you think Warner Brothers can step in and maybe say, look, man, especially after the movie gets going, say, hey, let's move
push
this
it. I'm sure they had a decision, and because I'm sure right now with Warner Brothers looking at Alcon, you just cost, maybe the studio had to put in some money, and we dropped some money on Point Break also. They're not trusted right now, so maybe that's one of the reasons they don't trust the decision makers over there.
And also, won't it be a month? Will only be a month into the run of the newest Star Wars? So won't that affect its box office even a month later, as we see the new Star Wars is still gaining traction.
Which Star Wars
Still
will be
making-
out by then, though?
Because it'll be
Which one?
2018.
Where?
Episode 1.
2018. It'll be
Episode 8, right?
Episode 8 will be what next?
Yeah.
Are we talking about next year?
No, it's
No, for this-
2018.
this is
It'll be
2018.
episode
Yeah.
8. It'll be
8.
episode 8.
Yeah.
So I think it'll still be doing box office.
What
by that
percentage
point.
chance do you think they're going to move this date?
Oh.
No, it's 18. Sorry, 2018 is Han Solo.
Is it?
Yeah, 2016 is Rogue One. 17 is Episode 8, and 18.
Well,
Yeah, but
that's
it's
what
going
I'm
to
saying.
bleed over, though.
It's
it's going to bleed
to
over.
Jan- to
Right,
January.
right.
January of 2018.
But what percentage chance do you say they're going to move? Because I say I give it a 70%
Yeah.
chance they're going to move this date.
Probably like Marvel did, and like other studios have done recently, move their stuff to not compete or to do like taking the temperature of the market and moving it. I think 80%, in my opinion, like I think it has to move. I think eventually the groundswell, now that they've announced it, the
Yeah.
groundswell of people who don't like it, like we're talking about it on the show, will probably take over because we're the ones that are going to go see it. So logically,
Christian?
As far as
Percentage chance that they're going to move from this January 12th date or whatever.
I don't think much.
really?
No, I don't think they're going to move because the money rise and Alcon's just not trusted right now. So I'd say 15% chance.
Hey guys, if you like this clip, click here to watch the entire episode. Also, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel because it'll help you stay up to date with all the stuff we've got going on here at